I wonder where she lives. I've never heard of that place before. Oh, geesh. I'm sorry, folks. This is Paul with the education team at Prezi, and I'm here to continue on with the series of Prezi's Back to School DIY series focused on flipped classrooms. And what I'm going to be talking about today is different strategies and techniques that teachers are using in their videos and see if any of those might translate over to the types of things you're doing. So, you might remember me talking about the idea of dissolving the screen. And basically, that comes from Doug Lemov. But basically, it means that the teacher is still there, still present in a kid's home, even though they might be remote and even though it's video, it's still their face and they're still guiding the class. And it's an interesting bridge because you're inviting them into your home and you are inviting them into in their and you are going into their home, I should say. So teachers navigate that in different ways, and the key is sort of being warm, inviting, and exuding your presence as a teacher in both spaces, which is kind of unusual. So let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at several videos. Let's start with direct instruction, which is the number one use case of most videos that are being produced by Prezi. Now we have two teachers here, Rachel and Kristen, who come from different parts of the country, different subject matter, and the way that they instruct is very different. Neither one is wrong at all. This is really showing the variance and actually maybe even the trajectory of teachers as they're coming along and using videos. So let's take a look at this first one, Rachel up here at the top. As you're watching, pay attention to these three questions. What do you notice? What do you wonder? And what ideas are spurred in your head? So let's take a look. And then when we come back, after watching both of these, we will discuss what we noticed about them. So first up, Rachel.
Hi, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about the legislative branch and try to better understand this branch of government. So we're going to break this up into two sections. First is talking about the structure of the legislative branch, and then talking about the powers of the branch. So let's begin. We call our legislative branch Congress. It is just like a formal name, but they're one and the same thing. So you might say, I go to a middle school, but the name of my middle school is Mayfield Middle School. The name of our legislative branch is Congress. Our Congress, just to make it extra complicated, is bicameral, meaning we divide it into two parts. It's just an extra safety check on the laws we make. One part is called the House of Representatives. The other part is called the Senate.
All right, folks, let's take a look at the next video, which is a different subject matter with Kristen, and see how she handles direct instruction.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for math. I hope yesterday's video helped you with the basics of polygons. I'm going to review just a little bit again today and just add on about regular and irregular polygons. So, types of polygons that you heard about yesterday were triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, nonagon, and decagon. And so all of these polygons, boys and girls, the first few letters, they're prefixes like tri, quad, pent, hex, hept, oct, dec, and dodec, which is an extra one.
All right, folks, let's take a look at some of what I was thinking when I was watching the videos. With Rachel's, we notice she's warm and inviting right away. We can sense that. She really has a rapport with her students. She doesn't sound scripted. She knows her stuff. She knows what she's going to say. She maintains eye contact throughout the whole thing. She's not covered in images either. She doesn't hide behind them. Sometimes teachers just do a voiceover of a PowerPoint. Don't be afraid to show your face. Your students know you, and that's who they want to connect with, not the PowerPoint. She also identifies her purpose up front, and she again reiterates that down the bottom with the legislative branch piece. She also uses key words to identify key points in her presentation. You notice that structurally, and she accentuates that visually, how the lines come down there from the bicameral branch, indicating that. She does a great job. When it comes to Kristen, she definitely takes a different approach. We'll notice right away that she's a little softer, but she's probably working from home and wants to keep her voice down. She's also, the thing that really struck me, however, is that she's using the class language. So boys and girls, and then she directs them into their routines. It's the same thing. It's her layering the classroom into the video, which is pretty awesome. And the kids will respond. They'll have those triggers in their head. She also color codes a lot of what she's done. And certainly it's an image that she's taken from her previous work. But notice those visuals are key and really important in that the color coding of the different prefixes matches the angles and the geometrical features that she's featuring. She remains present as a teacher in front of them, and she maintains that role. It's pretty cool to see how she does that. Okay, onward to the next one. This one's on assessment and review. What we have here is a teacher, Zach, and he's doing a very short piece to sort of inform folks as to what's going to be on the assessment. So while you're watching again, what do you notice? What do you wonder? And what spurred? And we'll come back together and I'll sort of process what was going on in my head. All right, let's hear from Zach.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is a short clip to let you know what you need to be studying for your quiz on Thursday and Friday about European explorers. Let's get started. First thing you need to understand is that there were 4 European nations that were fully invested in the age of exploration. Those 4 nations were England, France, Spain, and Portugal. You need to be able to locate those 4 countries on a map. You're also going to want to know what motivated these 3 nations. There were 3 big motivators for each country. We can classify these as the 3 G's. The first G being God. These guys were interested in spreading their religion. In this case, it was Christianity. The second G would be gold. They were very interested in becoming wealthy and rich. And the third G would be glory. This fierce competition between these European nations is an old rivalry, and they wanted to be the first and the best to do the exploration of this new part of the world.
Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. That was most interesting to watch. These are the things that I noticed about the video. He was very direct. It feels like you're in his class. It honestly does. In fact, so much so, I was like, that reminds me so much of a teacher that I've had. He's the archetypal teacher that many of us have had somewhere along our education careers. He's simple, he's organized, he's direct, and he's assured. He doesn't waffle, he doesn't hide. The camera captures him well, and he pushes himself out there. As some folks like to say, he gave like with me, I have to give 120% of my personality. Zach's is right there. He also provides mnemonic devices. He's well lit. His audio is good, and his background is fun. So he's kept it very simple, very clear, and short. That's honestly the best thing you can do with a lot of these videos. Especially try to keep them under 6 minutes in length. Research says that's best. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Now, this one is about coaching students, which many of you, I'm sure, have had to do along the way. This is brand new territory. You have to bring the students along. You have to coach them and understand what it's like for them, and then bring that in, their experience, and sort of coach them with that, as well as parents, really. So listen to what the teacher has to say here. As you're watching again, those 3 questions. What do you notice? What do you wonder? And what spurred? Okay, let's take a look.
Buenas tardes, mis amigos. Hoy es viernes, el 17 de abril, 2020. Can you guys believe it? It's already halfway through April, about a month and a half to go. Hey, this whole distance learning stuff, it's not very easy. I understand that. A lot of weird things going on. So I just wanted to kind of share some observations and let you know about a change in the way I'm going to be doing some of the things that I've normally been doing. Number 1 refers to your time management. Now, some things are out of your control. I know that you are home. Your parents might be working from home. You might have limited resources. I get it. But I need you to try and figure out some type of a schedule that you can just kind of adhere to. Having a really normal schedule is very helpful psychologically right now, just where you're kind of in the same routine. Get into a routine somewhere. What I really don't want to see is what I've seen this past week especially. Many of you guys are turning in assignments after midnight. Some of you after 1 a.m. This is crazy. Okay, you're not going to be able to survive during this time and do your best cognitively. So again, figure out a schedule and try and stick to it. I'm not trying to give homework that takes too long. So there's really, I don't understand why you're working at 1 a.m. to turn these things in. Go to bed and do it in the morning. Okay, it's all good.
Awesome. This is what I was thinking when I was watching that video. So he keeps it very simple. The visuals are very simple. Notice it's just those dots. And my guess is he took a Prezi and then made it into a video, which often happens with configurations like that. So you might want to look at those simpler templates. But he did a great job with this. It doesn't matter exactly where the dots are placed. It doesn't have to be visually appealing. What matters is his words and how he's connecting with students. He kept it simple. He captures their attention right away with some Spanish. That's what they're used to hearing probably from him. It sounds like you're sitting down with a chat with him. He's definitely earnest. He's definitely giving good points, and he exudes caring. It's amazing how he can do that. He's incredibly warm, and he really invites the students in. Great job. All right, the next examples that I have here are not video examples, but simple images. Many teachers are using puppets and props, and those can really be helpful. This woman is using some punctuation prompts that she brought in for her grammar lesson. The person down below is using gestures. You don't see it because his hands are behind the jelly beans there a bit, but the jelly bean smattering he's pointing to, and then it opens up. Gestures matter. It's okay to gesture. It shows that you have a personality. I can't gesture, and it's better than just standing back here like this the whole time being a talking head. So don't be afraid to use gestures. Don't be afraid to point to things. It can be quite fun, actually. Okay, the other thing that I want to mention too is the creation of a series. Now, Jamie Ewing has been working with Prezi for a while. He's a teacher in the Bronx. He teaches STEM, and he rotates from pre-K all the way up to, I think, 6th grade. He's really become a master at Prezi, and what he's done is created series. So you'll notice up top there, Jamie is doing a story read aloud. It's about a jumping bean. And then that leads him into a STEM activity. So notice that connection between literacy and science. He's doing that well. These little videos that he's created are direct instruction oftentimes, and sometimes they're directions into projects that he wants the students to do. In another series that he did, he read the carrot seed, then he talked about terrariums, and then he had the kids make terrariums at home using plastic cups, clear plastic cups, bottom and top, soil and a seed, and things grew. So Jamie has done that here too by talking about animal adaptation as well as building the perfect home. These videos all tie together into a perfect suite. And then what he does is he puts it in the description with all the links. So the parents think, oh, how cool. I have more that I can do here. Notice that home Play-Doh. I didn't put that one on here, but he gives them a Play-Doh recipe that they can do without any heat involved. Really great stuff that Jamie's doing. And the series really helps parents navigate, especially when they're in the younger grades, a learning project at home. Even though it might be simple, Jamie's leading that through. At any rate, I'm glad that you joined me. This is Paul from the education team at Prezi. And until we meet again, have a swell day. Talk to you later. Bye.